See a broad to get that booty yak 'em. Leg her down or smack 'em, yak 'em.
Got time for that.
If you're at the stage in life, you can do what you want to do. Big salute to you. Love, thank you. FDNHT, Trin. Straight to you wherever you might reside, wherever you might live, wherever you might hide. Yo! Yo! Okay. Appreciate you. Like I was saying, hope all is well. Hope y'all doing what y'all supposed to do. Some of y'all at the stage where y'all can do what y'all want to do. From FDNHT to you to wherever you might reside, wherever you might live, wherever you might hide. You know, it's a love thing. You know how we get down. You know, when it come time to swing, you know how we going to bring. This is another episode right here. We talk about the DEMS and they fucking daddies. That's the DEMS and they daddies. You hear me? Let me get situated real quick. I think this will work right here. Yep. I think this right here do it. As usual, wow. Take care of yourself so you take the people around you. Love yourself so you love the people that is around you. He and I is him. Without further ado, it comes a time in life you just gotta see things for what they are and let them be what they is. And then you make a decision. You make a decision on either you say, I'm gonna willingly be ignorant to this thing and I'm gonna ride with it. But tonight we specifically talking about the political party. Like he's promising change. They keep promising something new, some type of reform to benefit the blacks. And time after time after time again, it's almost like they just changing the physical feature of the person they put in front of you. That's it. That's exactly what it seems like. Change of the gender. But the history is just a history. They have a strict history of it. They have a history of being okay with a level of hypocrisy and ignorance and corruption that is, to me, is mind-blowing. And time after time after time again, simply because somebody told you, which is most likely an elder in your family told you, and you didn't stop for 1 second. Try this whole time, try to make sense of it. Not one time. You just going along with the flow. At this point, you're an adult. At this point, you're an adult. You're not living in these people's house no more. You're not living with granny. You're not living with mommy. Right? You're not living with daddy or grandpa. You have to start stepping on your own and stop looking back for approval. Walk forward like an adult. Make your own decision. Stand by it. Say what you got to say and say it straight. Say what you think. Say what you've learned. Say what you've comprehended. Say what you have experienced. This go along, get along gang shit. Let me not ruffle no feathers shit. This let me play it cool shit has gotten us nowhere. Has gotten nobody nowhere. Look back and see when change has actually happened. See when the wrongs are corrected. See when change on a mass scale has happened. Just go back and take a look. And today is so easy. You don't even have to type anymore. You can just push that button on the phone and speak into it. And furthermore, an AI bot will come back to you and read it to you. So you got it made in the shade. You're still out here getting played. Shout out to the homies in the shadows, bro. Y'all know what it is. What y'all just got here, you hear me?
You merely adopted the dark. I was born in it, molded by it.
Molded by it, you heard? Y'all just y'all out here faking it. Y'all ain't from the shit, man. Let's go ahead and jump into the video. Let me get that prepped up for y'all. Let me get that rolling. Give me 1 second. Boom. There we go. Get that back out. Stop is rolling. Damn. My man in the building. What up, G? J Dub. Usual suspect stumbling into the town square. It's okay to be late. It's okay to be late. Hit them buttons, kick up your feet, do what you need to do. Have no fear. Only family and friends are here. Generals, you know you can do what you want. Have shots and beers, but ladies, only wine for y'all. But kick up your feet and also remember to relax. Yo, here, happy Tuesday. Blessings to you all. Bliss. Rolling.
Joseph.
Let me know how that sounds coming through on y'all end, because it's crystal on my end. But we know how this machine and StreamYard do. Damn.
Robinette Biden Jr. was born on November 20th, 1942, and grew up for a short time in the city of Scranton, Pennsylvania. But the family moved to Delaware, and he never returned. He still likes to claim that he is a Scranton boy, although many of the locals do not claim him. His siblings are Valerie Biden Owens, James B. Jim Biden, and Francis William Biden. His father, Joseph Biden Sr., worked cleaning furnaces and later worked as a used car salesman. His mother was Catherine Eugenia Jean Finnegan. Biden attended St. Paul's Elementary School in Scranton, but in 1955, the family moved to Mayfield, Delaware, when he was 13 years old. Biden struggled with a stutter as a child, and kids gave him the nicknames of Dash and Joe Impedimenta. After high school, Biden attended the University of Delaware, studied history, political science, and he claimed he played football.
Yeah, how they call him Joe Impedimenta. Yo, kids be wild. That boy's getting smoked in school.
However, during a campaign stop in Athens, Ohio in October 2012, then Vice President Joe Biden said the last time he was in town, he was playing against the Ohio University football team in 1963, and that he almost got arrested for walking to a girl's dormitory. The fact is, he never played for his college football team, although his official biography still has that claim. But he did develop an interest in politics during these years, primarily by the election of John F. Kennedy in 1961. He met his first wife, Nylia Hunter, also a Syracuse University student, while on vacation.
Syracuse is orange. Orangeman. Yeah, the Orangeman. Necessary. Shout out to Syracuse.
In the Bahamas.
Name somebody else great that went to Syracuse. You can name 2 off the top of your head.
After graduating from Delaware
At least y'all should.
in 1965, he was accepted to Syracuse
This should be easy. I'll give you one. Mellow.
University Law School and married Hunter in 1966. Biden was a mediocre student at best and did not have an impressive academic resume throughout college, and this substandard performance followed him into law school. During his first year in law school, he failed a course for failing to properly cite a reference to a law review article. After graduation from law school in 1968, where he barely survived, Biden moved to Wilmington, Delaware, to practice law as a public defender and was an active member of the Democratic Party. He was elected to the Newcastle County
That boy went to Delaware. Motherfucking Delaware.
Council in 1970, where he served as councilman. Then Biden started his own law firm in 1971. Biden and his wife Nylia had 3 children: Joseph Bo, born in 1969, Robert Hunter, born in 1970, and Naomi Amy, born in 1971. In 1972, the Delaware Democratic Party encouraged Biden, then 29 years old, to run against the Republican incumbent J. Caleb Boggs for the United States Senate. Biden's campaign was managed by his family members, and his sister, Valerie Biden Owens, was his campaign manager. His brothers and both parents also campaigned for him. Biden won in an upset to become the 6th youngest U.S. senator elected in American history. Just before Christmas in 1972, Biden's wife and 3 children were involved in a fatal car accident while shopping for a Christmas tree. His wife and daughter were killed, and sons Bo and Hunter were badly injured. To his credit, Biden did not attend the swearing-in ceremony for new senators in Washington, as he wanted to be near his 2 surviving sons and prepare for the services for his wife and daughter. Instead, he took the oath of office from his son's hospital room. This was when Biden decided to continue to live in Wilmington and commute to and from Washington each day using the Amtrak train, which he continued to do during his time in the Senate. After Congress failed to ratify the SALT II Treaty signed in 1979 by Soviet General Secretary Leonid Brezhnev and President Jimmy Carter, Biden met with Soviet Foreign Minister Andrei Gromyko. They addressed the concerns that Americans had, and Biden worked with Gromyko and secured changes that addressed the Senate Foreign Relations Committee's objections. Getting back to his relationship, according to Biden, he met teacher Jill Tracy Stevenson, née Jacobs, in 1975, supposedly on a blind date, according to their mutual story. However, it has surfaced that they were having an affair, as Jill was married to Delaware.
Say what?
Business owner Bill Stevenson at
Yeah, how you go bald that boy?
that time. Jill filed for divorce and wanted the house of the settlement, which was contested by Stevenson on the provable grounds of adultery. Stevenson stated that Joe's brother Francis Biden paid him a personal visit and threatened him after the divorce, which Stevenson won. Joe and Jill were married at the United Nations Chapel in New York on June 17, 1977. But according to Stevenson, who stated, Frankie Biden of the Biden crime family comes up to me and goes, "Give Jill the house."
Not the crime family. You ain't call him the crime family, dog. You still talking about who went to Syracuse? Derek Coleman, Donovan McNabb, Derek Coleman, Al Ford, Sherman Douglas. Get your house.
house, or you're going to have serious problems. I looked at Frankie and I said, please, are you threatening me? And needless to say, about 2 months later, my brother and I were indicted for that tax charge for $8,200. It should be noted that while
There go the boy right there. Check him out. Yeah, I wouldn't even want somebody that looked like this in my house. See, what's up? You already know. He looked like he fresh off the line. If you dig it.
Hunter Biden was charged with 2 misdemeanor counts for $2.2 million in unpaid taxes coming from entities by the Obama serious problems. I looked at Frankie and I said, please, are you threatening me? And needless to say, about 2 months later, my brother and I were indicted for that tax charge for $8,200.
Abuse of power, overreach. Yeah. Using your professional powers, right, in your personal life. That's not corrupt.
It should be noted that
That's using your resources, right?
while Hunter Biden was charged with 2 misdemeanor counts for $2.2 million in unpaid taxes coming from entities by the Obama and Clinton appointed members of the Internal Revenue Service and Department of Justice, Stevenson and his brother were charged with 2 felonies over $8,200 in unpaid taxes.
Let's go back. Because at a certain point, if I'm not mistaken, it turns from a misdemeanor to a felony. But 2.2 mil for Hunter Biden was a misdemeanor. But the ex-husband got a felony for $8,000. That makes sense. There's no favoritism. There is no corruption. There's no pay for play. There's no. This is where we start getting into to things that people talk about for real. And we start talking about the Barack, the Hillary, the Bill, the Biden connection with Comey, Robert Mueller. Y'all think that shit makes sense?
It should be noted that while Hunter Biden was charged with 2 misdemeanor counts for $2.2 million in unpaid taxes coming from entities by the Obama and Clinton appointed members of the Internal Revenue Service and Department of Justice, Stevenson and his brother were charged with 2 felonies over $8,200 in unpaid taxes in a personal vendetta by Joe Biden. We will revisit Biden's use of federal agencies for personal gain later in Part 2, as it was apparent, even at that time, Biden was willing to use his federal office for a personal agenda against other people.
No, ain't no way. Horseshit, not Joe.
In the mid-1970s, Biden was one of the Senate's strongest opponents of race integration busing. His Delaware constituents strongly opposed it, and such opposition nationwide later led his party to mostly abandon school integration policies. Biden admitted that he and Hillary Clinton had been mentored by West Virginia Senator and former Ku Klux Klan legal or recruiter Robert C.
Bird. There's a thing about mentorship. There's a reason why let's say y'all chose each other. Let's use that term. The mentee, the mentor. They had a conversation. It was like, great. I think you'll be a great mentor for me. It's like, you know what? I don't mind spending my time mentoring. A lot of things you pick up. from your mentor. But let's go back a couple of steps. We will go back a couple of steps. Then it might make a little bit more sense. What he actually picked up from his mentor.
Byrd and policy. Strongest opinion later in part 2, as it was apparent even at that time Biden was willing to use his federal office for a personal agenda against other people. In the mid-1970s, Biden was one of the Senate's strongest opponents of race integration busing.
Opponent against integration.
His Delaware constituents strongly opposed it, and such opposition nationwide later led his party to mostly abandon school integration policies.
Y'all hearing it? See how somebody's mentor has an effect on what you do, what you think, how you actually perform in your professional sense. I don't know if you ever had mentors, but I have.
Biden didn't.
That's why you encourage to have more than one. You might have somebody that's great technically and professionally. You might have somebody that's great at relationships, right? And you might be in that stage in life where you're looking for a relationship, so you have them both, right? You might be somebody that's great at scholastics, great at maths, or whatever the case is, right?
Admitted that he and Hillary Clinton had been mentored by West Virginia Senator and former Ku Klux Klan Kleagle or recruiter Robert C. Byrd, who filibustered against both the Voting Rights and Civil Rights Acts in the 1960s during the Lyndon B. Johnson administration.
Mr. Filibuster against the civil. Are y'all hearing this shit?
Biden himself has stated that he was opposed.
But this is.
To forced busing because he did not want his kids living in a racial jungle, a sentiment expressed by his wealthy Democrat supporters, especially in Delaware.
Wealthy Democrat supporters, they didn't want integration. Because in integration, it'll turn into a jungle. Y'all see how lowly they really think about y'all? Y'all see why when it comes time for votes, why they don't do shit for y'all? And I still don't see how when it comes time to vote, y'all even think about that. And what we're saying is, voting is legit. That's a whole different story.
He opposed a constitutional amendment banning busing entirely, as long as it was used in the South or other places not affecting himself or his voting constituents. During the first Democratic primary debate in 2019, Kamala Harris brought up Biden's harsh opposition to busing as a means of integrating schools in the 1970s. In 1976, Biden supported a measure forbidding the use of federal funds for transporting students beyond the school closest to them to enforce integration. There was backlash.
So I guess Delaware works the same way, right? And I think a lot of places work the same way due to funding, and I think also when it comes to sports, what's it called? Poaching? Is it poaching? Poaching players? Right, but mostly when it comes to fund, yes, poaching, funding, school. Like schools can only take on so many students, pretty much. The student to teacher ratio, et cetera, et cetera. So a lot of states are like this. Jersey's like this. Right? But you know there's ways around it. If y'all know, y'all know. Yeah. Let me borrow that address, dog. Let me borrow that address, dog. But now you gotta catch the bus. Ain't just one bus. You gotta catch two buses. And then walk some. Feel me? To get to the better school that's in that county. Or township or whatever your state got rocking with. But yeah.
And in 1977, he co-sponsored an amendment by closing the loopholes in that measure, which was signed into law by President James Carter in 1978. This would not be the first time Biden would change his official position on an important topic if it meant that he could sway votes and stay in power by pandering to those who he felt could benefit him. Biden softened on his segregation mentality, as did, to be fair, Senator Robert Byrd, who, in later life, denounced his years in the Klan and being supported in his political career by the KKK, and he apologized for his involvement. Biden, seeing the political winds, went after the Reagan administration, in particular Secretary of State George Shultz, at a Senate hearing regarding the administration's support of South Africa, which was anti-communist and dealing with communist-supported terrorists, despite its continued policy of apartheid. When Biden was chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee in 1987, Biden displayed his severe partisanship and was credited with Supreme Court nominee Robert Bork's failing to be confirmed. Biden, along with Senator Edward Kennedy from Massachusetts, also opposed Clarence Thomas's Supreme Court nomination, where he took some heat regarding accusations made by Anita Hill, who accused Thomas of making unwanted sexual advances. In 1987, Biden decided to run for the U.S. presidency, but dropped out of the Democratic primary after it was shown that he had plagiarized part of a speech given by British Labour Party leader Neil Kinnock.
Oh, why don't they pay people to write their speeches for them?
Biden has also made several false claims that he had earned 3 degrees in college, that he attended law school on a full scholarship, and that he graduated in the top half of his class. None of that was true.
They all do it, dog.
He also claimed that he had marched in the civil rights movement, which was a lie.
I remember that one. I do remember that one.
The news services and fact-checkers blew it all in the open. And on September 23, 1987, Biden withdrew his candidacy, saying it had been overrun by the exaggerated shadow of his past mistakes. We will revisit this commonly repeated theme later as well, in Part 2. Biden had been suffering from severe headaches during his campaign, and after dropping out in 1988, it was discovered that he had 2 life-threatening brain aneurysms requiring surgery. Complications from the surgery created blood clots in his lungs, requiring another surgery. Biden was unable to work in the Senate for 7 months. Biden also served as chairman of the Committee on Foreign Relations for several years. His many foreign policy positions included advocating for strategic arms limitation with the Soviet Union, promoting peace and stability in the Balkans, expanding NATO to include former Soviet bloc nations, and opposing the first Gulf War at the beginning of Operation Desert Shield in 1990, followed by Operation Desert Storm in January 1991. Biden voted against authorization for the Gulf War in 1991, siding with 45 of the 55 Democratic senators in opposition. His concern was that the U.S. was bearing almost all the military and financial burden in the United Nations coalition force. In 1993, Biden voted for a provision that decided that homosexuality was incompatible with military life, violating the Uniform Code of Military Justice, which banned gays from serving in the armed forces. If homosexuals were discovered serving in uniform, they were liable to be court-martialed until President Bill Clinton.
That's the thing about it. Let's be real. Let's take a second and be real. What was that called? The don't ask, don't tell policy, right? We're not gonna ask you, right? And you don't come over here telling us. Because this is the reality of it. I don't care what you do in your personal life, in your bedroom. That's your business, to be completely honest. If my house is on fire and I'm on the ground passed out from smoke inhalation, and a fireman runs up and grabs me, I'm not going to say, hey, are you a part of the LG community? No. If I need to call the law because somebody jacked shit from my garage, I'm not gonna want a police officer that's not. I don't care about that type of stuff because I'm dealing with you professionally. I'm dealing with you. I'm a citizen. You the law. You being a professional. I'm being a citizen. Right? We engaging professionally. I guess we both be engaging professionally. as a citizen, right? People introduce things sometimes that have no need to be introduced in a thing. But what I was saying was this: there's always been LGBT people inside the military. That's not nothing new. And I'm gonna double down with the homie soon and get a gist on how bad it is, how much it is, or like ratio wise, maybe. But that's not gonna stop. How many armed forces is out there? Just ratio wise, it's gonna be there. I understand why the policies are written. I do understand why the policies are written. Just like when they did the T's, right? The issues was it was so many different things that I came up with it. It was so many different. It was the treatment. Just navigating it alone by itself became extremely tricky. But that's not what, let's say, they're designed for. They're not designed for that, right? They're designed as a force to protect the nation. I kind of get it. I do kind of get it. I completely get it. It makes sense. It takes a whole lot of energy and time in that direction, which is not what it's made for. It's not made for that. The time it needs to be a strong force.
Introduced the Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy. Subsequently, Biden voted for the Defense of Marriage Act in 1996, which prohibited the federal government from recognizing same-sex marriages, thereby barring individuals in such marriages from equal protection under federal law and allowing states to do the same.
I've never understood that part right there. If you're an American and you're human, then you have rights inalienable already. I've never understood that part. Honestly, I've never understood that part. You're American, you're born here, or you came and got citizenship, then you just have rights. So I never saw the need for a special right. I could possibly understand where they wanted to do the marriage thing, but that's it. Every other right is there, from what I comprehend.
In 2015, that act
What's up, Red?
was ruled unconstitutional in Obergefell v. Hodges. However, while in the Obama administration as vice president, he again changed his position, flip-flopping on that subject, and ran for president on the pro-same-sex marriage platform. As president today, in a total 180-degree turn from his previous position, he bowed to the woke collective who supported him, and now he supports not only same-sex marriage, but also gays openly serving in the military, as well as transgender persons. In addition to foreign policy, Biden was an outspoken proponent of tougher crime laws, and in 1994, during the Clinton administration, he sponsored the Violent Crime Control and Law Enforcement Act to add 100,000 police officers, a ban on assault weapons, which liberals are never able to define, and increased sentences for a host of crimes. One provision was the habitual offender argument, better known as the Three Strikes Law, which incarcerated hundreds of thousands of people, especially minorities, for even a small legal infraction.
So we kind of brushed past that the other day when we was talking about LBJ, right? And we talked about Cam last week. We brushed past this thing. It's legislature in law that works against the black community. It's diabolical shit, dog. The system is already almost cocked back and geared at blacks already. But what you're doing is you're just arming them with more pieces, right? Arming them with more pieces. So it's more over police. It's torn apart, right? With all these.
Some states already had habitual offender laws, but Biden supported increasing the role of the United States Department of Justice's anti-violence strategy. These laws require a person who was convicted of an offense and who has one or two other previous serious convictions to serve a mandatory life sentence in prison, with or without parole, depending upon the jurisdiction and if the crimes were violent in nature. The Violent Crime Control and Law Enforcement Act was passed with bipartisan support in April 1994 and was originally written by Senator Joe Biden. Many liberals complain today that the law disparaged minorities, especially blacks who were serving life sentences, and Democratic states followed the administration's position and enhanced their own provisions. According to the
There's no way we can sit here and act like the law doesn't bend to whoever it needs to entertain. We can't do that. But the Dems are signing into legislature, signing into law, and putting these things in there that have a super effect. Like the law is already there. But then here comes the question. Why was that girl on that bus with a dude that had 14 charges? You feel me? So if somebody wants to play devil advocate, they could argue it well. This did it for this. No. When you see the effect of it, you have to look at the effect. In my eyes, you have to look at the effect, how long-reaching and far-reaching this thing is, and who's affected the most. In a community that's already over-policed and pressed down, then they will normally and naturally receive the brunt of this. Yes, I know. There's more whites in. I know. I get it. There's more whites in jails. I get it. Completely comprehend it. I'm not saying there's more blacks in jail. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is somewhere in my brain, I feel like the system fractured and blacks have never been given a real fair shake until recently, when it should have happened a long time ago. That's what I'm saying with that statement. And with these legislatures that were put in place, it seems to exacerbate the subjugation of blacks. That's what the fuck I'm saying.
ACLU. Following passage of the federal crime bill, incarceration rates continued to climb for an additional 14 years. First, the 1994 crime bill gave the federal stamp of approval for states to pass even more tough-on-crime laws. By 1994, all states had passed at least one mandatory minimum law, but the 1994 crime bill encouraged even more punitive laws and harsher practices on the ground, including by prosecutors and police to lock up more people and for longer periods of time. This increase in punishments also increased the growth industry of private prisons.
I was just about to talk about this shit. Go ahead.
Which contracted with the various states. The companies that owned these operations sent their lobbyists to Washington, D.C. and contributed heavily to Democrats' re-election campaigns, including Biden. Biden in recent years has apologized.
When I look at stuff like this, right, I can't help but to think that it's a machine that's being fed. They're feeding a machine. Straight like that. That's all I could think about. Because now a privatized prison system is now getting labor. They're getting paid to house people. This whole shit look like a bunch of kickback to me. And I don't want to. I don't want to tinfoil hat this. And I don't want to go off the trail or go off the topic anything. But we have to sit here and be honest and realize that these things just don't seem, one, as innocent as they tell you that it is. Two, beneficial to nobody but them. Three, more ways to just subjugate people and keep this shit split. Like, you've been hearing this shit since you were small. Rich get richer, the poor get poorer. Like, that's not That's not a false thing. It's a real thing. It plays back into the machine of white supremacy, right? The machine of white supremacy in itself. You can see how this gear interacts with this gear, and this gear interacts with this gear, and it keeps that machine moving.
Apologized for that law, which put so many potential Democrat voters in prison for very long sentences. But that only came after he again switched his position on crime, due to the rise of the Biden and states. The companies that owned these operations sent their lobbyists to Washington, D.C. and contributed heavily to Democrats' reelection campaigns, including Biden.
So they put in people. Oh my God. I'm chill tonight because it's been a long day. It's been a really, really long day. I'm chilling. I'm really, really just chilling. But at a point, you just gotta call corruption and pay for play what it is. You send me these bodies. Simple. And then we could roll on. You send me these bodies to fill my bunkies and my cells. I'm gonna kick you some bread for your campaign. Does that even sound legal? Does that sound like it's a legal thing? Like there's no interest, there's no conflict, there's no corruption? Does that sound like something that is sound and true? Like you could look at it and see the inception of it in day one. Like I like to call it domino one. You can look at domino one and see it tilt over and touch two touch three touch four touch five. Now we at domino 10. Could you look at this thing and say it's a sound thing with no heart, no sense, no stink, no funk of corrupt and foul behavior? You can't do it. You cannot do it. M Love, what up, G? Legend, what up, G? I see y'all step into the room. Do y'all think y'all know what to do? I'm not ignoring nobody, though. Y'all know how I get sometimes when I get in that zone. I'm just locked in on something. Peace, power, and prosperity. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know what we do. These things are corrupt things. Nobody has been prosecuted. Nobody been to jail. And if there's a possibility of it, the homie gonna write you a pardon. That means if the AG in them pick it up. Do you not see how this thing work?
Biden in recent years has apologized for that law, which put so many potential Democrat voters in prison for very long sentences. But that only came after he again switched his position on crime, due to the rise of the domestic terror groups Black Lives Matter, Antifa, and the unhinged and unfounded outcry claiming systemic racism against minorities. Biden was critical of independent counsel Ken Starr's investigations during the 1990s covering the Whitewater and Monica Lewinsky scandals.
What did he say?
J-Dub, this shit is nasty work, though. This shit is the worst of the worst of the worst. I got another part I want to do, dog. I'm still contemplating it. I really am still contemplating shooting another part about something. It's this plus more. Like it's the corruption that is rotting away so deep into this, just into everything that we look at, though. It's fucked off so bad that everybody except the top of the top is hurting for something at some way and some point. This shit is fucked. Dog, we can't even get a fucking honest Epstein file. We can't get a fucking clean Charlie Kirk investigation. It's always a motherfucker sitting there blocking some shit. You know what? This is why I like Candace, bro. Candace will say what I'm saying, or we have the same sentiments about things, or we look at things similarly, right? Ian Carey, we look at things similarly. They have way more information. They do way better deep dives. They way nicer with it. I'm not a deep dive person for real. I'll drop the gem. You want to go hunt, right? You can hit me on the back channel. I could point you in the right direction for sure. I'm not against any of that. But the same way I got up off my ass to go learn things, I just can't inside of me. I don't have that inside of me to just willingly give you something I had to go hunt for. Logical, what's up, love? It's not inside of me because I don't think that it's full-blown laziness, but I think it's laziness to the point that you want everything handed to you. The same way I had to go learn money. The same way I got above my ass and went to go learn technical skills. You can see people put their energy in things that will not take them nowhere for real. And when you give them something that will give them some type of substance, some type of foundation, some real shit, some educational shit, some shit to give them some footing in life, they don't have the energy for that. So how the fuck could I sit here and feel like I'm gonna just dump it all out there? I can't do it. In good conscience, I cannot do it because since I was young, I heard when the student is ready, the master shall appear. So as soon as people are ready to actually learn things, people will see that. People will see that and people will drop these gems off for you, right? People will see that you are interested and you're taking your time and you're learning, you're reading, you're pulling up this magazine, you're pulling up that article, you on the internet, you really putting in some time to get the grasp of something, to actually learn something, get some knowledge, some fat. I call it fat for the brain. You really want to put some fat to the brain, right? People will see that. If I see somebody actually doing that, like shout out to Buddy who was in the chat the other day. Him and Variant was in there talking, chopping it up the other night. No, was that the morning? Whatever. I think it was the morning time. That was my morning joint. And we was talking back and forth. And it's because I could see the fact that this person looks up information. I can see that Variant looks up information. I can see that people look up information. So it's cool. All right, cool. Yo, do you hear about this? Do you hear about easy thing? No big deal. Because they show that they go get information. I'm not saying I'm the only source of information. I'm not even the source of information. What I do is I drop gems out here and have conversations with my people and my villagers. Simply. And that is it. Y'all know shit that I don't know. I know shit that y'all don't know. Just that simple. And this thing is the thing that we do together. And much as they want to tell you it's separate, and much as they tell you we different, the fact that they have to talk about us being so different and we so dissimilar to each other is the fact that we are so similar to each other. They have to find out and point out the dissimilarity. They got to show you the fucking 10% instead of acknowledging the 90%. Because the 90% is just too gravitating.
Plaguing the Clinton administration. He voted to acquit President Clinton during the impeachment proceedings. Biden stated, "It's going to be a cold day in hell before another independent counsel would be granted similar powers."
All right. That don't look right.
He voted to acquit President Clinton during the impeachment proceedings. Biden stated, "It's going to be a cold day in hell before another independent counsel would be granted similar powers." That was before he became president, where he needed his attorney general, the ineffective, corrupt, and incompetent Merrick Garland, to involve himself and appointing various independent counsels to protect him, his son Hunter, and the Biden crime family. Before the start of the Yugoslav Civil War, as tensions were increasing, Biden held a...
Yo, take a quick break. You hear me? Take a quick break. Not gonna be long. Not gonna be long. Hold your head. Be nice. Logical and teeing them in the chat. I seen Red earlier. I don't know if she's still in here or not, but they in here chilling. So chill with them for 2 seconds. I'll be right back. In a little bit, I introduced y'all to the gang members, the newest members of the gang.
tense 3-hour meeting with Serbian leader Slobodan Milosevic in April 1993. Again, to his credit, Biden worked on several versions of legislative language urging the U.S. toward greater involvement. Biden has rightly considered his role in the Balkans crisis as his proudest moment in public life regarding foreign policy. In 1999, during the Kosovo War, Biden supported the 1999 NATO bombings, and he, with Senator John McCain, co-sponsored the McCain-Biden-Kosovo resolution, which...
I don't know how much they kind of pushed y'all in America to like pay attention to kind of like politics, but more like stuff in the world, right? But back home we did. We watched. We really. Yeah, quick little spin it, bro. Yeah, for sure. But back home we did. We did have to like, because the next day in school we have to talk about stuff that's going on. So we knew about Kosovo, Bosnia. Like we knew about that type of stuff. And we all the way in the West Indies, right? So I don't know if that was a thing for y'all in America, but it was a thing for us. So that's why some of these things just sound so familiar to me. Like, I haven't seen this video. I saw who made it, and I saw the title of it. That was good enough for me. Good enough for me. Somebody do some solid work, good reputation, good history of producing some quality shit, then I'm okay with it. And if I disagree, then I disagree. Doesn't take away from the fact that this person went out there and created content and put it out there. Doesn't do any of that.
Called on Clinton to use all necessary force, including ground troops, to confront Milosevic over Yugoslav actions toward ethnic Albanians in Kosovo. Biden was a strong supporter of the war in Afghanistan, saying, "Whatever it takes, we should do it." As head of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, he said in 2002 that Iraqi President Saddam Hussein was, quote, "a threat to national security, and there was no other option than to eliminate that threat."
I think I'm gonna stay away from that one. I think I'm gonna stay away from that one. I may not. I may not, dog. Because them is pieces to a puzzle that I started to paint the other day. So I don't think I can stay away from it. I gotta figure out how to do it properly. Doing it.
In October 2002, as one of the most vocal hawks on Capitol Hill, he voted in favor of the authorization for use of military force against Iraq, approving the U.S. invasion. By late 2006, Biden's stance had changed, and he completely reversed his previous opinions.
You got the Baltimore G. It ain't light over there, you hear me? It's spear out here in them streets. What up, boy? Big salute to you, bro. Peace, power, prosperity. You know how we do. Shout out to y'all.
He opposed the troop surge of 2007, saying General David Petraeus was dead flat wrong in believing the surge could work, but Biden was wrong. In part 2, we will dive deeper into Joseph Biden's political past, his involvement in foreign policy, as well as the many accusations of sexual advances, sexual assault, and then later we will continue with the ongoing impeachment proceeding and the continuing saga of the Biden crime family's operations.
All right. Pushing the 1 hour marquee. Nice and easy day. Part 2 is strapped in, ready to roll. I got to show y'all the newest members to the village gang. They over there chilling, you hear me? Hope y'all can see them. They in the middle. They in the very middle. Not at the top. They in the very, very middle. They in there. Cool. Hanging out with us for tonight. You heard? Give them a warm welcome. This. They could be chill, keep each other going. Let me fix my camera. Catwoman is joining us tonight. I don't know who this is, but it's she look like a female Punisher. Well, we have Catwoman and this female Punisher character right here. And right here we have Catwoman. You heard? But yeah, I picked them up, just picked them up recently. Picked them up Sunday, actually. That's why Sunday I was a ghost. I was traveling. I told you I gotta travel to get them. But I got them. They keep staring at me too. So damn pretty. Everything is up to par. Back to the stage. Speed. Yo, rolling into part 2 of the corrupt Joe Biden and the shit that he be on here. Kitty. That missed some. Ain't no. Man.
Joe Biden established himself as a very flexible politician when it came to his positions on important issues. His lack of honesty and political integrity were established early in his career, as was his willingness to use his office for personal gain and vengeance. However, despite Biden's long track record of failures, to be fair, he did have a few brief moments of diplomatic brilliance, where he actually did his job on behalf of the nation, gain and vengeance.
The fuck was that?
However, despite Biden's long track record of failures, to be fair, he did.
Y'all know who this is? Right here. We know who this is. You know who this is? I'm gonna type the name.
Did have a few brief moments of diplomatic brilliance, where he actually did his job on behalf of the nation, if not the world in general. What were some of Biden's successes in the Senate?
This way you got to give people credit. When they could speak about something objectively and identify wins and losses. Shout out to Forgettable History. My guy, big salute to y'all over there grinding out. And I appreciate this. I appreciate the messages and the talk. That shit was dope. Thank you. I appreciate you. The objectivity in itself is something that needs to be recognized. Because guess what? It's Pelosi fucking long head ass right here at the bottom. You see Pelosi down here? Moving on. Objectivity is something that is key because it tells you somebody's not attached to this thing emotionally. People who are attached to something emotionally, when they talk about it, you could see and hear it why they get down like that about a specific topic. So they lack the objectivity of just looking at something for what it actually is and what it stands for. I think having that level of objectivity is key to maintaining your integrity at the end of the day. Especially when you talk about journalism and the work, especially when you talk about this type of work, creation of video and putting information out there and all that. This is, I don't have no sticks with it. I think his integrity is intact. And I do think he has a keen sense of integrity and objectivity.
How did he transform from a war hawk to a passive belt, and why? What professional and personal decisions did he make that harmed the nation? How did scandal begin to plague his career? Hello, I'm Colin Heaton, military veteran, historian, author, and welcome to this episode of Forgotten History.
What did he say?
My guy, big salute to you, bro. Respect. You already know. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service.
Before the start of the Yugoslav Civil War, as tensions were increasing, Biden held a tense 3-hour meeting with Serbian leader Slobodan Milosevic in April 1993. Again, to his credit, Biden worked on several versions of legislative language urging the U.S. toward greater involvement. Biden has rightly considered his role in the Balkans crisis as his proudest moment in public life regarding foreign policy. In 1999, during the Kosovo War, Biden supported the 1999 NATO bombings, and he, with Senator John McCain, co-sponsored the McCain-Biden-Kosovo resolution, which called on Clinton to use all necessary force, including ground troops, to confront Milosevic over Yugoslav actions toward ethnic Albanians in Kosovo.
Oh, you see them things, boy? Look at them
Sponsored
things,
the
boy.
McCain-Biden-Kosovo resolution, which called on Clinton to use all necessary force, including ground troops, to confront Milosevic over Yugoslav actions toward.
That's my discipline. That's actually my discipline in aviation right there. F-18s. Trin, how you know it's the F-18s? I've been doing it for my whole fucking life. That's how I know. Trying to see what type, though. That's what I'm actually looking for. I know what it is. I'm trying to see what type it is. It's a hard angle to check. 1, 2, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's an alpha to, it's either alpha to delta.
Toward ethnic Albanians.
Might be Canadian with this circle on it.
In Kosovo.
It's an old school. Look right here. You can see it right here. That's how you could tell. This one right here. This right here tells you it's a 1-seater. Besides seeing this, it's a 1-seater, right? It's only one pilot in there. But this right here is what you call the intake. The intake right here on the old school F-18s looks like a half a circle. On the newer F-18s, which they call Super Hornets, looks like a big ass square. The other one in the background, I was right about it because I counted the armament stations. So this right here in the middle says 5. It says station 5. Another station in here, right under the intake, pretty much under the intake, a little bit back at station 4. This is 3. This is 2, and on the end of the wing, it'll be 1. So I counted 1, 2, 3, counted 4, and I counted 5. That's 9. Make sense? All right. So you have 4. You have 4, and you have 1 in the middle. So that's 4 and 4 is 8. The 1 in the middle makes 9. What happens is, because they have to fly such a distance, that's why this one has 2. You see this one? This is a tank. This is a tank for gas.
Co-sponsored the McCain-Biden
I'm
Kosovo
gonna show you how I
resolution,
figured it out.
which called on Clinton to use all necessary force, including ground troops, to confront Milosevic over Yugoslav actions toward.
Boom, right here. This is how I figured it out. That it was a old school and not a Super Hornet. Because there would be more stations. Then this one right here, and you see this other bubble right here? This bubble that you see in here is the same bubble as this bubble. It's for gas. It's not a thing to go drop on things. It's all for gas. 1, 2, and 3 for gas. This right here that we clearly saw in this one,
toward ethnic Albanians in Kosovo.
this is action. This right here is action on 2. Action on 2, wet on 3, wet on 5, you wet on 7. All gas. That's how I figured it out, the way it was laid out. Because then you would have 11 on a super. You would have another one right here. Yeah, supers are 11. Yeah, supers are 11.
Biden was also a strong supporter of the war in Afghanistan, saying, force, including ground troops, to confront Milosevic over Yugoslav actions toward ethnic Albanians in Kosovo.
This looks Canadian. This does not look American. Let me be clear, this does not look American at all. There's no way that's American. That's a fucking a growler. No, that's not a growler. That's a prowler. EA6B prowler.
Biden was also a strong supporter of the war in Afghanistan, saying, whatever it takes, we should do it. As head of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, he said in 2002 that Iraqi President Saddam Hussein was a threat to national security and there was no other option than to eliminate that threat. In October 2002, as one of the most vocal hawks on Capitol Hill, he voted in favor of the authorization for use of military force against Iraq, approving the U.S. and coalition force invasion. By late 2006, Biden's stance had completely reversed and he changed his previous opinions. He opposed the troop surge of 2007, saying that General David Petraeus was dead flat wrong in believing the surge could work, and Biden was
This shit about to touch his chin.
wrong. The surge worked. Instead, Biden believing that dividing Iraq into 3 separate states, separating the factions, was a great idea, giving Kurds, Shiites, and Sunnis their own regions. Unfortunately, he failed to consult with Iran, Turkey, and Iraq. In September 2007, a non-binding resolution endorsing the plan passed the Senate, but the idea failed to gain traction in the House.
Do you remember seeing that video? The top one of the Saddam statue? I remember these things.
House of Representatives. To Biden's great credit, he did call for American intervention to end the genocide in Darfur, but he also spoke out against President George W. Bush's handling of the Iraq War, claiming that he had been opposed all along.
There go your boy.
Others, like John Kerry and Hillary Clinton, also altered their previous positions, even claiming they never supported the war. During the 2000s, Biden sponsored bankruptcy legislation sought by credit card issuers, and this made sense, as Biden was a major benefactor from the banks issuing those cards, most based in Delaware. They donated to his campaigns. Clinton had vetoed the bill in 2000, but it passed in 2005 during the George W. Bush administration as the Bankruptcy Abuse Prevention and Consumer Protection Act, with Biden being one of only 18 Democrats to vote for it, while leading Democrats and consumer rights organizations opposed it. This would set in motion the financial meltdown in 2007 and 2008. Biden also strongly supported increasing Amtrak funding by taxpayers because that program never made a profit, and like the U.S. Postal Service, was always in the red. He opposed privatizing Amtrak, which would have made sense, as the private sector always manages a business better than the federal government. In 2007, Biden decided to run for the U.S. presidency again, but Biden's campaign could not.
Biden, Barack. Nobody remembers any of these other dudes. Clinton, sure.
Not compete in the primary challenges against the name recognition and the momentum of fellow Senators Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama, and after receiving less than 1% of the vote in the crucial Iowa caucuses, Biden dropped out of the race. Biden was selected by Obama to be his vice president.
He's been getting smoked for hella years, huh? That's his third joint he ran for?
Running mate, as it was believed that he could help the Obama campaign communicate its message of economic recovery to the blue-collar voters crucial to swing states like Ohio and Pennsylvania. On November 2, 2008, the Obama and Biden ticket defeated Republicans Arizona Senator John McCain and Alaska Governor Sarah Palin. On January 20, 2009, Obama was sworn in as the 44th U.S. president, and Biden became the 47th vice president. During this period, Biden's financial limitations manifested, along with the criminal behavior of then-Democrat Representative Barney Frank from Massachusetts. Frank had oversight of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac and followed the Obama policy of giving home loans to underprivileged Americans, in essence, those who could not afford them. Many of these owners, unable to pay for the mortgages, defaulted, and the banks had to recover those losses, which depleted cash reserves for other investments. Barney Frank lied to Congress and the American people during the crisis period from 2006 to 2008. Housing prices took a plunge even greater than the price drop during the Great Depression, and new construction ground to a halt, as the leading institutions were going bankrupt, and new loans could not be secured by builders, and refinancing existing loans was almost impossible. In fact, that very discussion came to a head in 2009 when Frank was on Fox News Channel's The O'Reilly Factor, when Bill O'Reilly called Frank out for the lies, deception, and cover-ups. It was proven that, even while Frank and Biden, among others, touted the solvency of the home lending institutions, they were secretly selling their stocks to cash in before the whole house of cards collapsed.
At every turn, dog, there's some corrupt shit going on, bro. He always wanted, you said, Mike? I just don't get it, bro.
They saw it coming and did not tell the American people. In fact, they did just the opposite. The crisis was in essence created by Obama, Biden,
What
Frank,
did he
and others
say?
with limited intellect and banking knowledge, which led.
What did he
That's
say?
exactly what it is, dog. They just changed the face or the agenda of the person. They give me. One day we'll talk about how I don't think this thing is legit. And simply from this conversation, you could see how that the voting thing can be corrupted. Has corruption sold in, you could see it. You could say, I could see how it can be. You have to say it is. We have to go run on the hill and die. But after you see constant revolution, and I'm not saying it's just them. That's not what I'm saying. This show has a specific type, and a specific reason, and a specific theme, and a specific point. You're
To the Great Recession, and millions of working-class Americans, the very people the Democrats claimed to represent, lost everything from 401ks to homes and to their jobs. 2 years after the recession ended, unemployment was still above 9%, retirement plans evaporated, and Obama and Biden secured taxpayer bailouts for the banks and savings and loans that made those risky loans, most to unqualified homebuyers who would not have qualified due to income and credit ratings. The major CEOs, CFOs, and others who ran these lending institutions were given golden financial parachute bailouts, so massive their feet would never touch the ground. They were not held liable for fiscal mismanagement, lying to the shareholders, the American public, and keeping separate books for presentation to auditors. The shareholders and investors who lost all their money were left to wither on the vine, but they took care of their rich Democrat friends. But many Republicans were also involved, such as President George H. Bush Jr., who allowed this happened, so to be fair, he also did nothing. That bailout of the wealthy manifested later when they reciprocated by funding Democrat candidates in the next midterm election, as well as Obama-Biden for their re-election for the second term. In March 2008, insider investors like Barney Frank and others in the know, all liberals and a few Republicans, sold off their investment shares in the bank Bear Stearns because it contained too many of the questionable and toxic assets. Bear Stearns approached J.P. Morgan Chase for a bailout, but the Fed had to sweeten the deal with a $30 billion guarantee using taxpayer money. The situation on Wall Street.
There will never be no non-debt. This U.S. debt, this 30-some, what is it? 30-some. Oh, what is it? 37 trillion or billion? Is it billion or trillion? I think it's billion. Is it billion? Either way, whatever number it is. I don't care if it was a million. It could be 37 fucking dollars. It's not going nowhere. It will never. You said you think? I think it's trillion too. I'm thinking trillion also. That shit not going nowhere, dog. Not gonna go nowhere, dog. It's not. The system is it's almost like it's eating itself constantly. It's almost like it just constantly just eats itself. There's no end. There's no reversal. There's no cancellation of debt or whatever. It's not gonna happen.
Rapidly deteriorated throughout the summer of 2008. Congress.
The people that need to be taken care of aren't. Let's be flat about it. We talked about it last week. The people that really need to be taken care of are not being taken care of. That is the absolute fact. I'm not talking about BMs that want to run the street. I'm talking about people that want to drain the help programs that are built in. The programs are there to help the people who actually need help, not people who want to leech on the system.
Congress authorized the Treasury Secretary to take over the mortgage companies Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, which Barney Frank oversaw and ran into the ground, and it cost $187 billion. Remember, Frank, Biden, and other liberals, as well as some Republicans, sold out before the crash. They had insider information. On September 16, 2008, the Fed loaned another. Remember,
One, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Remember, Frank, Biden, and other liberals, as well as some Republicans, sold out before the crash. They had insider information. On September 16, 2008, the Fed loaned another $85 billion to AIG as a bailout, although the average citizen lost everything. On September 17th,
Why would you build a company? You built it one time, build it again. It failed.
2008, the crisis created a run on money market funds where companies parked excess cash to earn interest on it overnight, and banks then used those funds to make short-term loans. During the run, companies moved a record $172 billion out of their money market accounts into even safer U.S. Treasury bonds. Many would call that insider trading. On September 20, 2008, Treasury Secretary Henry Paulson and Fed Chair Ben Bernanke submitted a $700 billion bailout package to Congress. This response helped stop the run, but Republicans blocked the bill for 2 weeks because they didn't want to bail out banks. They only approved the bill on October 1, 2008, after global stock markets almost collapsed. Welcome to Bidenomics. Another factor of interest was that Biden had worked with the Federal Reserve and other members of the government to alter the unemployment numbers so that the administration looked better. In October and November, the Fed and Treasury restructured the bailout, bringing the total amount to $182 billion. By 2012, the government made $22.7 billion profit when the Treasury sold its last AIG shares, but those average Americans who lost their retirement investments never saw one dime. When they calculated unemployment, they never counted those discouraged workers who had given up looking for a job and dropped out of the workforce. Likewise, in order to appear better politically, the Obama-Biden administration began counting part-time and temporary employment into the job numbers. Biden personally led the charge to perform damage control after the Affordable Care Act passed in the dark of night without a single Republican vote in support of it. The Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act was signed into law on March 20.
My man, one, what are you doing there? What are you doing there? Know who this is? What are you doing there? You don't have a son, Barack. Who the fuck is this? What the fuck you call it? Token. Who the fuck is this token y'all brought to the party? Who the fuck he belong to?
23, 2010. The law mandated that businesses with more than 50 full-time employees under the new law had to provide exhaustive and costly coverage to those workers. The end result was that companies then had to make hard choices. Some downsized their workforce below 50 workers, some made their full-time workers part-time, while some companies simply moved their businesses overseas, many to China, Vietnam, Cambodia, and Europe, for cheaper operating expenses to escape the unaffordable insurance requirements. Biden actively supported the ACA known as Obamacare, and the lies that were told to the public were exposed when millions of Americans lost their existing health care plans if they did not conform to the much more expensive ACA requirements. Longtime patients lost their doctors, which they were told would not happen, and many doctors in private practice, seeing that Medicare payments would not cover their operating expenses, simply retired from the practice of medicine. Simply put, it was a bad law that crippled the economy across the board.
Ain't that a good question? Is that a random? Come on with the game, bro.
True result.
That's optic shit. That's optics.
Of a socialist-inspired policy mandate, which Joe Biden totally supported. Obama and Biden claimed that it was not a tax, but in fact it was, and when challenged to the Supreme Court, the justices ruled it was legal because it is a tax, and Congress.
I know a scoundrel grin and laugh when I see one. They're not laughing about some shit they seen on Bill Burr, Dave Chappelle. No. It's a different type of laugh right here. This laugh is different. This type of laughing, different type of laughing and smiling. Y'all don't believe me? That's completely fine.
Congress can make tax laws. But guess who lobbied Biden and other Democrats to get the law passed? That's right, the major insurance companies, because they believed that they would make more money since the government was covering the bill. And with the mandatory tax imposed for those who did not buy it and the high cost of coverage that locked it in, it was a win for everybody. Those people who lost full-time working status in many cases took second part-time jobs, which were continuously added to the Obama-Biden unemployment figures, providing a false impression of higher employment in the country. While Biden mostly served in the role of behind-the-scenes advisor to Obama.
Thank you, my G.
What did he say?
Thank you.
He was very active in formulating federal policies relating to the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. Also, to Biden's credit, it should be mentioned that he helped bring the new Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty between the United States and the Russian Federation to life in 2010. In October 2015, Biden announced that he would not seek the 2016 Democratic nomination after the death of his son, Beau. Obama presented Biden with the Presidential Medal of Freedom on January 12, 2017 in a surprise ceremony at the White House. However, there were many things coming back to haunt Biden. Also in 2017, Biden wrote a memoir, Promise Me Dad, and went on a book tour. By 2019, he and his wife reported that they had earned over $15 million since the end of his vice presidency from speaking engagements and book sales. However, Biden, the man who claimed to be the poorest man in Congress, paid millions of dollars in cash for several homes, including a beach house in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. Biden's income-to-debt ratio did not match IRS records, nor did Hunter's. More on that in Part 3. More allegations of sexual misconduct continue to follow Biden. Lucy Flores, a former Nevada state assemblywoman, came forward saying that Biden inappropriately kissed her at a campaign event, and a former congressional aide named Amy Lapos spoke of how Biden was made her uncomfortable at a fundraiser. Between March and April 2019, 8 women accused Biden of inappropriate physical contact. The most credible allegation of sexual assault of how Biden was in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. Biden's income-to-debt ratio.
All right, I'm about to play this one at regular speed.
Did not match IRS records, nor did Hunter's.
Look at how the fucking dude. Look how he.
The poorest man in Congress paid millions of dollars in cash for several homes, including a beach house in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. Biden's income-to-debt ratio did not match IRS.
Like Trin, you look like that too. You just look like the black version with an afro sometimes. Your beard, his beard better than you. Cool. I wouldn't want that sitting at my dinner table. I don't want nobody like that nowhere close to me, bro. Are we at what are we talking? Look like if he sneezed hard enough, he'd turn into a fucking chimpanzee. What are we really talking?
IRS records, nor did Hunter's. More on that in Part 3. More allegations of sexual misconduct continued to follow Biden. Lucy
He had a taste of Mexican.
Flores, a former Nevada state assemblywoman, came
Nevada, so she could be an Indian and a Hispanic Latino.
Forward saying that Biden inappropriately kissed her at a campaign event, and a former congressional aide named Amy Lapos.
This the person, y'all. But y'all fuck with Clinton too, so that makes sense. Y'all love women so much. This the people y'all fuck with. Let me take a quick spinny. Spin it. I gotta put these motherfuckers to bed soon. Yeah, they about to start tweaking. Motherfuckers is fat. Put them on a diet.
Lapos spoke of how Biden almost made her uncomfortable at a fundraiser. Between March and April, came forward saying that Biden inappropriately kissed her at a campaign event, and a former congressional aide named Amy Lapos spoke of how Biden almost made her uncomfortable at a fundraiser.
What is he doing? Yo. No. No. Fuck that. Can I zoom? Can I get a zoom? Oh, fuck. I can't zoom. All right, check this out. Look at this face. I'm being a little salacious. A bit. What up, G? Always remember.
You merely adopted the dark. I was born in it, molded by it.
Look. Look at her face. Molded by it. You already know, Jimmy molded by that shit, dog. Molded in the darkness. Look at her face. Look at her face. We're about to slow this shit the fuck down. No.
That a state assembly woman came forward saying that Biden inappropriately kissed her at a campaign event, and a former congressional aide named Amy Lapos spoke of how Biden almost made her uncomfortable at a fundraiser.
Where's his hand? Where's his hand, G? Look at her. Look at her. Try to do it at the same time. Did she just mouth the word? Oh, okay. Look at this shit.
Woman came forward saying that Biden inappropriately kissed her at a campaign event, and a former congressional aide named Amy
On the gang, G. Look at this look at this shit.
Lapos
Do we need a fucking body language expert in here to tell you what the fuck is going on?
spoke of how Biden almost made her uncomfortable at a fundraiser.
Now watch. Fuck her. We already know he cuffed her cheeks. She's grown, right? Slap him. Look at Shorty right here. I don't remember seeing nobody speaking. She gets grabbed up. Look. This motherfucker say, "Come here, bro." Oh my. I gotta watch that at normal speed.
A state assemblywoman
To see the word.
came forward saying that Biden inappropriately kissed her at a campaign
Yo, watch.
event, and a former congressional aide
We're gonna watch it one more
named
time.
Amy Lapos spoke of how Biden was made her uncomfortable at a fundraiser.
Nobody's talking. Nothing's going on. Yeah, M Love. But this is a video. He's grabbing her. Come here. She says okay. Now, why is she now locked down here? She was staring.
Between March and
Now you bring your ass over here too.
April 2019, 8 women accused Biden of inappropriate physical contact.
And this is the person that black people, fuck it, black woman when I didn't vote for. This person. This person right here. Why he cuffing up these fucking girls like that, bro? You a fucking full-blown professional in a professional setting. Why the fuck are you cuffing up these girls and these women like this? What the fuck is wrong with you? They did, yeah, M Love, they just be doing shit, huh? You know what he like? He like that fucking thing outside the fucking the car dealership. Look at her fucking face. This is fucking wow.
The most credible allegation of sexual assault
I will never delete this video. As a matter of fact, mother, cut part of this video out.
came from a former aide named Tara Reid. She had reported the event and filed a formal complaint to the ethics committee through proper channels, informed her family and friends and her mother, Jeanette Altimus, called the popular talk show Larry King.
But it makes sense because y'all ran out there and voted for Clinton also. Don't worry. He's on the menu.
Live in 1990.
Barack too. So all y'all motherfuckers with y'all blackity black feelings, I want you to show up and talk that motherfucking shit and defend Barack and stand where the fuck you stand and be proud. Because Barack is next. Barack and Clinton are fucking next. Make no mistake. I am telling you. All that shit y'all have for Kamala. All that Democratic love y'all had for Kamala and Joe, LBJ, have the same fucking love for Clinton and the same fucking love for Barack. Else, me and y'all might end up in some real long conversation.
93 to talk with King.
I might just ignore y'all and let y'all just keep voting yourself into non-existence.
The title of the program that day was Washington, the cruelest city on earth.
I might just let y'all constantly be disrespected. And Barack told you you're a misogynist. And because you black, you're supposed to be for Kamala. And Joe's supposed to tell you if you had a fucking issue figuring out who the fuck you should vote for that you ain't black? And Hillary got hot sauce in her fucking purse. And Kamala washing greens in a bathtub. And got Megan Thee Stallion and all these fucking entertainers to do fucking... Y'all don't know what disrespect is, do y'all? Y'all take disrespect and overlook it in the name of what?
And one of the guests was Lois Romano, who at the time worked as a journalist for the Washington Post. The entire event was laid out on national TV. Despite the scandals, Biden announced that he was running for president in 2020 on April 25, 2019, and he was heavily criticized for his longtime support of the Hyde Amendment, the federal law that bans federal funding for abortions. As he was running for president due to liberal pressure, he reversed his position on Hyde, as well as his many previous positions on gay marriage, gays in the military, etc. He always chose the position that gave him political lift. In essence, he has always been a fraud, never having a strong moral position that could not be swayed for personal or political advantage. What really brought interest into Biden's family finances was the first debate between Trump and Biden. Biden denied that his family had made any money from China or that he had ever spoken to his son Hunter or anyone in his family about their foreign business interests. Trump knew that it was all a lie, as he had the information and people had come forward, such as retired U.S. Navy Lieutenant Tony Bobulinski, the CEO of Sinohawk Holdings. He provided electronic, written, and verified whistleblower testimony, refuting all the claims made by both Hunter and Joe Biden, and all of Bobulinski's assertions proved to be 100% accurate. In September 2019, it was revealed that President Trump had inquired into the Ukrainian government investigating Biden and his son Hunter. This was the result of Biden blackmailing the president of Ukraine, threatening to withhold $1 billion in U.S. aid unless the country's prosecutor general at the time was fired. The investigation was into Burisma Holdings and their illegal activities in trying to corner the energy market, and why Hunter Biden, without any business, energy, or serious finance experience, no knowledge of the Ukraine, as well as a documented history of drug addiction,
What did he say? What did he say?
This is who y'all want to lead y'all. A whole fucking laptop. Dog, oh, I told you I'm chilling tonight. I'm not blowing no fuses tonight. All good. Locked in, we solid.
was involved. Trump wanted answers. In a September 24th speech, Biden called Trump's actions an abuse of power and said he would support impeachment if Trump did not cooperate with Congress. The stupidity of that scenario was that House Speaker Nancy Pelosi ignited impeachment proceedings that same day without even having an inquiry. The impeachment proved to be a farce when the transcript of the call was made public, proving that Trump had in fact only inquired as to the status of the investigation, given the evidence that the Bidens were making millions from Burisma in undeclared, unearned, and untaxed income. Quickly getting to work, President Biden signed a series of executive orders over his first few days in office, 17 being signed the first day. He reversed the successful policies initiated by Trump and opened the southern border in violation of federal law and his oath of office.
Don't they call that fucking treason? Ain't they laws where they string people to fuck up for that shit? I just can't comprehend how blacks equate God's divinity to something that was made, invented, manipulated, and polluted, and attach yourself to it so willingly and so fucking easily. As grown motherfucking adults, when you know, maybe you don't know, but you could look back and see how this thing has never ever benefited any one of your people, not you, not your fucking ancestors. I don't see why black people play identity politics from the back end instead of saying, we as the blacks on this land, we need this, we need this. Without that, we holding shit out. Town hall, county square, state, what the fuck is it called? State, not headquarters, it's called a state, not state, whatever the fuck they call the ones in the state. Ask for the things that you fucking need. Riots don't get you nowhere. Marching get you nowhere. Go to the park, have your meetings. This is not it could happen. That's all I'm gonna say. If you want to know how it could happen, go look at how it has happened.
Pandering to his new Green Deal Democrats, Biden killed the pipelines, stopped giving new leases to drill, restricted land so that current leases could not be used, and pushed electric vehicles, for which all the major components are made in China, and the materials are mined by slave labor in Africa, mostly children. In his first 2 weeks in office, Biden signed more executive orders than any other president since Franklin D. Roosevelt had in their first month in office, and every one of them has damaged the country. Biden also removed the Remain in Mexico policy, which prevented the illegals from around the world from crossing the border, with the assistance of the Mexican government, who had also secured their southern border with Guatemala. Biden agreed to re-enter the United States in the climate-related Paris Agreement.
I'm gonna say it again. It's probably not gonna be my last time. But if you and your ancestors toiled on this land, my ancestors toiled elsewhere. Some of my ancestors toiled here, but the majority of my bloodline toiled back home. You and your ancestors toiled here on this land. Your blood has soaked this soil. There is no way you should sit there and even vote for somebody that turned you into a 4th, 5th, 6th class citizen on a priority list of things that need to be done for the community. If we want to inject socialism into the republic, there's no way that you should be motherfucking nothing but number one. Let's be fucking real. Between the blood spilled and the toil through that to still stand today and be the most fuck it. When it comes to the fucking planet, let's be real. Everything that black people have ever designed and created is the most revenue generating thing in the social construct of the world. Furthermore, it translates to the business construct of the world because y'all was the ones doing it in the fucking first place. So how the fuck could you be also be so how the fuck could you be how this is a question. Answer or don't answer. How could you even think for 1 second to be anything other than the originators of everything that's making so much money today? There's no fashion. There's no fashion. Music ain't really gonna work, huh? When you think about the industries that was built of free slave labor, they wouldn't exist, would they? So then banks wouldn't exist also, huh? So if you vote for the people that wants to turn you into I'm gonna be decent and call you a fourth class citizen. How could you ever sit there and think that's a decent vote for you to make? Because somebody told you. I'm pretty sure people tell you way better things, right? If you lock onto what the fuck you want to lock onto, man. The sad part about it is I know you don't care about your fucking kids. I know you don't care about your ancestors that came before you. I know you don't care about your fucking grandchildren that probably ain't here yet. That's the part that fucks with me. That's it. Well, you're not from America. You get the fuck out if you don't like it. Well, I'm a citizen. I can go where the fuck I want to go. And furthermore, I've never disrespected the fucking FBAs on this country, in this land. I've never disrespected the fact that y'all did things in this land, y'all blood and sacrifices in this fucking soul. I've never done that. So don't ever in your fucking life think you come up here and talk to me like I'll be kicking y'all back in about fucking anything. Because I suffer the same way. I live an American life. Every single fucking day. Y'all know what I do professionally. I take contracts. To defend this shit here. My daughter's here. Yep. Ex-wife is here. Yep. Mother here. Yep. BMs is here. Yep. Don't make a fucking mistake and think I play around with any of these things, bro. Don't. I don't. I became a man here. My straightening session was here. The parts that made me who I am is here. I respect the fact that y'all built these systems. So don't be coming over here with your FBA fucking bullshit talking that shit because I ain't going for it, dog. Let me be absolutely fucking straight. Respect. Love is love. That's it. I gotta say shout out to my man Histories, bro. I gotta shout out to my man Histories. I'm at the 2-hour mark. Can't burn it, though. I've been running like ragged last 2 days. But y'all seen Dose and Loca in there chilling. I think they want to go to sleep, to be honest. I think I'm keeping them up. Give me 1 second. Let me put them to sleep, and then we kick it. Kick it, and we roll up. Give me 1 second. Quick little spin it. Spin it. Yeah, let them go to sleep, bro. We don't gotta keep them up without shit. Super beautiful. Super. Dose chest is red, like not like blood. It's blood red. He had a blood red chest, but the inside is yellow, and she got the fire red chest with the inside yellow. Beautiful, fucking beautiful. You didn't see him? Yeah, 2 birds. You didn't see him? I sent you a picture. G. We can't do things that are so self-destructive to us, right? We can't align things that have no alignment, right? My skin does not dictate what I think. One thing my skin dictates is my ancestry and my divinity from God. That's it. My skin don't dictate my crime level, my intellectual level. No, it doesn't. None of that. Those things are completely separate. Completely separate. I think black people are probably one of the most greatest things on the planet, to be honest. Straight up. Talented like a mother. Raw talent. Things that people can't even describe. So bad that they had to make these little tropes. Extra tendons in the legs and all these other things, right? It's funny. But the best jokes have a what? A baseline of truth, right? Be that great. Be that great, though. I love black people, though. I love black people, but I hate nobody else. I don't hate anybody else. You can't generate that thought process. It's like, I hate you because what? Because I fucking what? Because I don't fucking know you. So all the beef is personal beef. All the beef is personal beef, though. That's the way it should be. But you can't fall into the trap of ignorance. Fall into the trap of knowledge, understanding, wisdom, and behavior. Fall into the trap of betterment. Fall into the trap of advancement. Those are traps you want to fall into. Y'all know how we do it over here at FDNHT. Y'all know it's a love thing 24/7. You know, I know it's him, Slim Trim, and I'm built to win. I am your humble host from the east to the west to the north to the south coast. I promise you, I would never, ever in my whole life, I would never give you the less. But because I'm cool and I'm chill, I promise you, I'll never overdo it and absolutely do the most. take yourself, you can take it to people that's around you. You gotta love yourself so you can love the people that is around you. This thing in life that we do, it's not a sprint. Remember, it's a marathon thing. So train today like the marathon is tomorrow. And if you're ready, you will never, ever have to get ready. Y'all know what to do. Hit the buttons. Turn it up, dog. I'm contemplating some things still. I'm contemplating some things. We still on the blanket. Blanket drive is still on. All that shit, everything that we talked about is still on. I'm contemplating is the shows and how to shoot them. Simply because algorithms be algorithming. You hear me? And words trigger algorithms. But let's take a second and appreciate the people who fuck with us and make us better. You hear me? Let's take a second and give shout outs to everybody. Y'all know who they are. Y'all know how to get down, bro. From the crown to the ground. This is the town square. Everything is clean. Everything is fair. Have no stress, no worries. Only family and friends out there. Yo!